One of the criticisms faced by opponents of the Quran is that they claim there are major syntactic and grammatical mistakes in the application of Arabic linguistic rules within the text. They argued that, contrary to the long-standing Muslim claim that the Quran is a miracle of eloquence and rhetoric, a text that cannot be matched in beauty or correctness, a closer examination reveals multiple instances of morphological and syntactic irregularities. For example, in Surah An-Nisa, the word al-muklimin appears in the accusative form, whereas it is expected to be in the nominative al-mukimun, just like the surrounding words. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, the verse reads, Innal ladina amanu wal ladina hadu was-sabi'un, whereas the noun following inna is normally in the accusative case, so it should be sabi'in. In another verse, wa in ta'ifatani minal mu'minin iqtatalu appears, even though ta'ifatan is dual and its verb should be dual, iktatala, rather than plural, iktatalu. In yet another verse,
Inna rahmatallahi qareeb
is mentioned, although rahma is feminine and the adjective should also appear in the feminine form. Critics have compiled many such examples, arguing that they indicate not only that the Quran is not miraculous, but that it is even below the standard of ordinary Arabic literature, where such grammatical mistakes are unlikely. Muslim scholars and exegetes have offered various responses. In many cases, they argue that Arabic grammar contains subtleties that resolve these apparent issues. For instance, in Arabic, a noun may appear in the accusative for purposes of emphasis, praise, or rhetorical focus. In other cases, they explain that the grammatical referent differs from what appears at first glance, and that the Quran intentionally uses such structures to convey a deeper meaning. Some explanations rely on dialectal variations in Arabic, while others appeal to different canonical readings, suggesting that the grammatically consistent form exists in another recitation. Many scholars also argue that Arabic grammar itself was later systematized based on the Quran, since it was the earliest major Arabic text. Therefore, the source of grammar cannot be judged by rules derived from it. However, when we examine these criticisms, responses, and the extensive debates surrounding them, we are faced with complex scholarly discussions rather than clear-cut facts that allow a simple judgment of correctness or error. Each case is debated, often without definitive resolution. More importantly, for neutral observers, these responses may appear as ad hoc explanations, as if every apparent inconsistency is resolved by introducing a special exception. Yet, the issue may be clarified if we consider a fundamental distinction: the difference between the revelation of the Quran and its transmission and recording. Belief in this book is based on its guidance, its transformative verses, and the spiritual effect it produces in hearts and minds. The miracle of the Quran, as previously explained, is not necessarily confined to linguistic perfection, but lies in its spiritual impact and guidance. However, the writing and transmission of the Quran occurred through a normal human process. While the divine revelation itself is assumed to be correct, its recording and recitation were carried out by human beings, and variation is natural in any human transmission process. This is evidenced by the existence of different readings and transmissions of the Quran. Even Surah Al-Fatiha, the most widely memorized chapter, has multiple variant readings such as
Malik or Maliki Yawmid,
and Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim or Sirata man an'amta alayhim. These differences arose due to dialectal variation and differences in oral transmission and writing practices. What is essential, however, is that God has preserved the Quran from distortion in such a way that these minor variations do not affect its meaning, guidance, or spiritual impact. Therefore, if one encounters expressions in the Quran that appear to deviate from standard grammatical rules, one may consider the possibility that this was intentional and carried a specific divine wisdom, a view supported by many scholars. At the same time, it can also be acknowledged that, just as variations exist in transmission and recitation, minor inconsistencies may have a reason in the process of recording and transmission. In conclusion, what remains certain is that the Almighty and all-knowing God who revealed the Quran does not err. Thus, the revelation itself contains no error, including grammatical ones. However, what has reached us, even if it hypothetically contains minor discrepancies, does not affect our belief in the truth and authenticity of the Quran.